Welcome to Exploring Art Mediums. Today we're working on chalk pastels. It's just kind of an introductory lesson. Next month we're still going to be working with chalk pastels, but I'm going to show you how to paint with them instead of just drawing with them. So we're going to have 2 months worth of chalk pastels, which is a great course. Chalk pastels can then be layered with paints and things, and the beautiful thing about chalk pastels is you can layer on top of it and create many layers without destroying the color underneath the previous layer. Where if you were painting acrylics and you tried to put something on top, you lose what's underneath. So it's a messy art form. And I'll go through some tips about how to keep clean while you're working and all that. So let's get started. I am going to switch to my camera so that you guys can see my work table. And we're going to go over these different elements. But right now, I just want you to take out a scratch piece of paper. And it can be construction paper or anything you've worked on before. We're going to just go over some techniques with this. Okay, so if you have an old set of pastels that have been sitting in your closet or in your drawer and you haven't used them for a really long time, this is your chance to get them out and play with them. Now they may be dirty, and I'm just going to show you. My first hint is to take, what is this, cornmeal. And you take, see how dirty, I'll show you. This is my worst one, this white. I don't know if you can see it really well, but it's like all different color. And you just put it in, ideally, you would have more cornmeal in here. And you just rub it all over the stick and with your thumb on all sides, and see it becomes totally white and clean. Let me do that with a darker color that can really show the difference. Here's this green that's really bad. And I want to see what the real, so sometimes the coating on the outside of the stick is deceiving as to what the real color is. And see, look at how bright that green is now. And it was not like that before. So if you've got old pastels that have been used and are dirty, that's a good way to clean them up. The other thing that you'll want is a scratch piece of paper to dump all your crumbs on. So I'm just dumping on this paper towel. You don't want to blow the dust because you can inhale it, and that's harmful. It is actual pigment, and so you don't want that in your lungs. And so it's a very messy kind of thing. So you're always going to go to the side and just tap your work, okay? So go ahead and get your scratch piece of paper. And the very first thing we're going to talk about is some of the strokes that are used. So grab any color. I'm just going to grab my bright green. And I'm going to, let me zoom in. I'm going to show that you can, with these square ones, now the shape really matters. And so a lot of people will hone their chalk to a fine point. Sometimes the chalk comes in round and also oblong. Let's see, these are just squared ones, but you can get sticks that are round, and then you have to either wear it down to a fine edge that you want and just work with that little edge. Or you can have the sharp corner right here, and that makes a great line. So I'm just going to show you 3 lines, and I would like you to do the same on your paper, okay? And then you're going to take, then I'm going to take a blue, and I'm just going to, or it doesn't matter what color, just take another color and press down hard, okay? So we're going to layer these 2 together. And the way we do it is you put down your solid and you take your green and you do lines. And it's called cross hatching. And you can do fine lines, or you can just do concentric lines, you know, just by filling in with lines, okay? So that's called cross hatching. The second thing we're going to do is called layering. And say I take a pink and I take a violet, and then I'm going to move them here. So I take the pink and I draw it again, and then I take that one and I press, but I'm not going to press too hard, but over the top you can see that you can blend to, and that's called layering. And usually it makes a third color. If you look closely, you'll get this color that almost matches this bright purple instead of this light purple. Mixing the pink and the purple together will give you a third color. So whatever two colors you used will create a third color. So it's a third. And that's what's beautiful about chalk pastels, is the almost infinite variety of colors you can create just from all your different mixing of the pigments. The next thing we're going to do is what's called scumbling. And it's taking something and pressing hard. And as you go along, you press lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter till it's hardly anything on the side. Okay? So one artist, she calls this shouting over on the left when it's full blown, you know, full press, you're making it dark, over to the lightest here, and it's called whispering. So you're just whispering the color in on this one. Now we're going to create a neutral by taking two complementary colors. So I'm going to take a red and a green, and I'm going to mix them in a green. Oops, I'm going to use a darker green. I think that'll work better. And you come here. Now I want you to, I'm going to show you something tricky. So if I put this green down really heavy, and I put this red down really heavy, we've created kind of a muddy color, and it's called a neutral, and it's going to be either a gray or a brown, depending on the colors you've used. Now what I can do is take my finger and blend that, and I will get truly a true neutral. Okay, so that's good to use when you want a neutral, but you don't want to use gray. Grays too. Oh, the other thing that's really nice are wet, what are these called? Diaper wipes? Children's baby wipes? Okay, so that is called complementary you're making a neutral out of it. Okay. So let's set that aside, and we're going to do one more. And actually, let me do this one first. I'm going to take a piece of white paper because I want this to show up really well. We're going to talk about saturation. So saturation is when you have the solid bright color, and then you are adding white to it, and it tones it down. Okay, so we're going to go in reverse. So I'm going to take my yellow and go down like that. And then I'm going to take my white, and I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to go up. And you can see that by layering white over it, you're toning down the color. Your saturation is dropping. The next one we're going to do is value. We're going to take a bright color. I'll do pink or red and go down. And then I'm going to change the value by starting with black and coming up to meet it and where they cross. And I get this tone in here that's the pink, the black and the pink. So it's pink and black together right there. So the value changes right there in the middle. Okay. See, we did complementary. Oh, the other thing that chalk pastel artists are well known for is the point system. So there's the artists back in the Impressionist era that would do just a variety of points, just dab points. They're the pointillists. And then they would take a different color and then they'd start over here. When they got to the mixing part and it crossed over, they didn't mix the colors, they just put the dots side by side, and it fools your eye into believing that it's a third color in the middle. Okay, so that's the point artists, and that's from the Impressionist era. And either this month or next month, I'll show you a technique to use shaved or chipped off chalk pastel and crushing it and placing it on your picture and then rolling over it, and it crushes the little dots in there into the pigment and makes it stay. It's really pretty. Okay, our neutrals, we did the red and the green on this other page down here, but I want you to show you that across from the color wheel, you can take any two complementary colors, which would be red and green, which we did. You could, these two opposite colors make a neutral. So I'm going to take blue and I'm going to cross it with orange right now. So if you have those two colors, I want you to do the same. So we can take blue and then we can take orange and come back, and where it crosses over, we're going to get a neutral. Now it may be a little bit green, but the next thing we're going to do is use those complementary colors for clouds, okay? And then the last color there would be purple. And then take a yellow. And do you see what develops is this beautiful gray right there? Okay. So that brings us to our clouds. I'm going to show you really quickly how to take very colorless clouds and make them more vibrant. And to do that, we are going to we're going to take our gray and our white and make some clouds. So we're going to just scribble some clouds with your white. And underneath it, we're going to do a gray. I'm going to do a lighter gray, I think. Okay, and that kind of grounds the cloud. It kind of makes it have this shadow, right? But now, if we were to take a mixture of any three colors, and we'll test this, so do some more white. We're going to take purple, yellow, and green. We're going to make a gray. So I'm going to do purple, green, Did I say purple, green, and gray? I didn't mean that. I meant purple, green, and pink. Now you don't have to mix them other than just what's on there. They'll just look blended. You don't have to go and smear it unless you want to. So I could go back and mix it in and make it a true gray or a brown, but I don't have to. Does that make sense? So that gives variety to the clouds and makes them stand out and are more brilliant, okay? Remember, any 3 colors. And then we'll make a gray or neutral. And I want you to use that on your clouds to energize them. Okay. So from there, we're going to start our pictures. And our easiest one is our daisy. So we'll start with that one. So you can have any color background. It just doesn't matter. So if you're working on white, that's fine, but you're going to color your background first. Okay. So this is already orange. So I'm not going to play with the background on this one, but on our next ones, all the background is layered. Okay, so we are going to use our orange, and we'll have to use a dark orange, and then a light orange, and then a white for the center. We also need a brown. We need a blue for our shadows, and we need 2 greens for our stems. 2 shades of green, okay? Oh, I wanted to show you, there's these tiny ones that are called semi-hard, and they're good for liners and making lines and things. So there's soft pastels, chalk, and then there's chalk semi-soft. They look the same, it's just they make more lines. It's easier to make a fine line. Okay, if you've gathered those together, we're going to start with the big orange, and we're going to do an oval.
What are the colors again?
Orange and light orange and white to begin with. And then do a second circle inside that one with orange, a lighter orange or a yellow if you don't have another orange. And you can blend it a little. You can dump off the excess. And then you're going to do white in the middle. And then it all gets blended lightly. You see how that makes it a 3-dimensional center? Very easy. Then from there, we're going to take our white, we're going to lay it on the side, and we're going to make petals. Now you can make up to, keep it an odd number. We like odd numbers. So I'm just going to go straight out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to go off here. Okay, and I'm going to make it a little bit wider at the end. And I'm actually going to curve this one. Okay. Everybody to that point? Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your blue and you're going to go on either side of each of these whites. And then you're going to take your trusty finger. Now, if you don't want to use your finger, you can use a paper towel, or you could use a Q-tip, whatever you have. And you're just going to blend. And I just think the towel doesn't work as well as my finger. The reason the finger works really well is it's using some of your oils on your skin to blend. Now, if you don't want that, then you would have to, you can use like your pinky, or the side of your palm has less oils. But your forefinger has quite a bit of oils on it. After you've done smoothing it out, you can look at it and you can say, I want some of that white back in there. Again, so you might want to go back in and shade parts of it. And that's the beauty of it. You can add layers to it. Now we need this brown because this daisy, I guess it's called, has a lot of dots, little seed heads all the way around. But then most of it is on the right-hand side where it's shadowed. So we want to put more over here. We also want to draw little lines with the brown coming out, radiating out from the center. And I'm going to just smooth those in just a little. Okay. Then moving on, oh, I didn't leave room for my stem. I guess I'm going to come out to the side right through here. No, right through here. With the stem with a green. And then I'm going to add some dark green on top of that. Keep both greens showing, I guess. And then some green here. We're just going to make a leaf that's just lines and then comes out. You can go back in and put some veining in there. And you can shake that off. Okay, I'm going to wait. I'm going to pause it. Okay, for our next picture, we're going to paint, draw a pumpkin. Now, I used kind of a green construction paper, so I didn't have to add a lot to my background. But if you want me to, I can use white and show you how to do it on a white piece of paper. Okay, I got a lot of yeses from that. So we'll do it on white so that you can see how to take it from there. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to do is we are going to do our horizontal line. So I'm going to take the color of this green, which is this color, and I'm going to just spread it all over. Now I'm using mixed media paper, and you can see the tooth that's in this paper. It is really strong. It's good for, the reason you like that is because it gives you many opportunities to add more color before all those pores get filled with chalk. So I'm going to go on top of that with my aqua. And you guys could use a blue if you don't have this aqua color. Again, we're going to dump our stuff off. And I'm going to just blend this because I don't want any of that white to show. And we're filling in all that white, all the white holes. This kind of paper, this mixed media paper, can probably handle about 5 layers of chalk, whereas a smoother paper, you'd only get maybe 3 to 4 layers. You can also put a fixative on, a spray fixative, like a hairspray or it's called a fixative, and then you can add more layers on top of that. Some people don't like fixatives because it dulls the colors. It takes out the brilliance. These are like crystals on this ground. Okay, so we're going to take our orange to begin with. So let's pull our colors out. We need orange. We need a dark orange. We need a red or a dark pink. We need blue. We need our 2 greens, maybe our 3 greens. We need a little bit of black. I think that's black. Maybe that's brown. Brown, maybe, and white. So we've got our neutrals, and then we've got these colors, okay? So we're just gonna freehand this, then we'll go back and do the bottom. Actually, I can't remember. I think let's go ahead and do the bottom. I'm worried that it's gonna be too hard to fill in the orange. I mean, we'll see the green and the white underneath. So let's get rid of that. Let's fill this in a little bit with the green, a lot of the blue. And then bright green. Let's see. So do the best with the colors you've got. You can make this any color on the table. It doesn't have to be these blues and greens. It can be anything. Again, I'm smearing. Dumping. Okay. So I think we're ready to go. Let's get started. Now we're going to do the pumpkin. We're going to treat it as 2 half circles. So we're going to come around and do this, and then come around on the other side. And it's going to go like that. You can come down a little bit. So it gets filled in with the orange. Begin with. I'm going to go ahead and smooth it. It's going to pick up some of the green and make kind of a brownish. So we'll go over it again, but I wanted to fill in all those dots. Okay, so let's do some highlights. We're going to start with the light orange, or if you have a white, it goes here. We're just drawing these circles. It's almost the shiny part of the, we've got the ridges, the lines where it's in, and then this is the part that is exposed, that's sticking out. On top of this, we come back in with this bright orange. And towards the bottom, you're going to get darker. Down at the bottom, we're going to add our red. Now, the problem with touching it, you may want to have a little piece of paper toweling so you can touch the page without putting your fingerprint on it. So if you see up here, I've got a smudge. Okay, let me zoom in a little so you can see more of the lines that we're going to do. Okay, next I'm going to take my blue and I'm just going to go in and make jagged lines. This is the deep shadow. Underneath, it's going to have some red coming up to meet that dark orange. Okay, I'm going to dump this again. And then we need some green on top of that blue to tone the blue down. Okay, you can mix with your fingers, and honestly, I think it's more vibrant if you just let the colors just play their own way and not mix it too much. I'm going to dump it one last time, and then we're going to put white. So our white goes on top, and this is our highlight. So it's on the top here. It comes down. The white kind of disappears, gets eaten up by the color. So it does get saturated pretty quickly. It gets blended in, I should say, pretty quickly with the other colors. So we're just hitting it right where the brightest stripes are. Okay. Okay, the stem, we start with this brownish color, gray color, and we kind of go up and let it hook. This is our darkest color. The other colors are going to be layered on top. So it's just partially done. On top of that goes some blue. And here's where you want to use a lighter hand. You don't want to push this blue into the black. You want it to sit on top. You're going to jump over to your green because that's really what a stem is until it's turned yellow. And then on top of that, I'm going to shake that off one more time. We get some white. Okay. Now over here, I've got a fingerprint, so I'm just going to try to rub that off. Now our pumpkin is floating in the air, so we need to ground it. And the way we do that, our shadow is blue. So we're going to take a darker blue than we've used up here, and we're going to come underneath our pumpkin and come over to the left-hand side of the table. And that just gets smeared in. There. Okay. That's our pumpkin. For our next piece, we're going to take a black and we're just going to put some scribbles on it and make a midnight sky or galaxy sky. So if you don't have black paper, you can use white and scribble black all over in the oval, really dark, and then lightly do black in the middle. Okay. So once you have your piece prepared, you're going to take some colors. Let's pick out our colors. We're going to do a purple. We're going to do a blue. We're going to do an aqua or a green. We need a golden yellow or a bright yellow. So we are going to start with this black, and we're going to take our colors. So listen carefully to the colors: purple, blue, aqua, green, yellow, and orange. And then you have to have a black also. So make sure you have a good black. Okay, so we are going to just have fun with this. It's just scribbles. So you're just going to do like clouds. It's just going to be fun. Don't worry about anything. You're just going to mix it up. Take one color all the way through I took my orange and yellow all the way through. Okay, so that's fun. We've got it all over the place. Okay, so what you're going to do is shake that off. And then you're going to just rub it. And you can do it in a circular motion. You can do it in a kind of galaxy motion where you want it to stream across the page. Ooh, that yellow is really deep. Not sure I'm going to be able to get across that. So then after you've rubbed that in good, you're going to take your white and you're going to do some clouds across the top, kind of in a, I don't know, a line sort of thing, Milky Way maybe kind of thing, and then just lightly blend that. You're not trying to blend it with the other colors, you're just trying to soften it. Now I've got a scribble here. This yellow is way too intense, so I've got to make some more yellow to disguise those scribbles because I can still see the circles on mine. If you've got circle troubles, you can do the same. I also want to add some more purple. I can see where I'm lacking. Some purple, maybe change the purple to a different color. Okay, again, white on top. Just keep adding layers of color until you're satisfied with the way your night sky looks. You're not going all the way to the edges. You're just staying kind of in the middle. And I don't think I added orange. Or if I did, it disappeared. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so then you're going to take your black. Now the thing about black is that, yes, you have black paper, but you don't have black chalk on here. So you still want to add black chalk because it is going to give you some luminosity in the sky. So you still want to cover the black part with chalk, even though you've used black paper. I'm going to cover up the whole bottom. And dump that. Okay. Now I'm going to make some grasses. And they really just show up once they start hitting the contrast. And over here, maybe over here we have a small tree. I didn't put that in the original drawing, but that might be kind of cool to have a tree that's over here. Okay. Then in the middle, we're going to put a figure. We're just going to do a line for his or her feet, her legs, and then kind of a clothing it's just a little triangle. Her shoulders. So not a lot of detail. It's just a kind of a representation of a person. Okay. And she's looking out at the stars. Okay. Then you're going to take your white and you're just going to dot stars all over. That's it. That's our night sky. Pretty easy. Okay, folks, we're going to go and jump to our little seaside. I was using a scrap as a sample to see if this would even work. So I don't have the full sheet. What we're going to do is a half sheet of brown construction paper. If you don't have that, you could use a gray, some sort of neutral color. Purple's fine. If all you have is white, then I want you to cover it with brown pastel before you even get started. So you would just go on there. We've got 3 things. I need you to find 4 pink to red pastels. So I'm going to do a light pink, a dark pink, where is my pink? and then 2 in the middle that are in between those, okay? So this is going to be our background color. We're going to go with these pinks, and this just sets a luminous opportunity for us to paint by doing this. What we're going to do is we're going to pick our darkest and our lightest and do those first, okay? So just follow along. It won't look like anything for a little bit. It's just going to look like we're just putting in shapes. So I'm going to take my lightest pink, and if you don't have a light pink like this, you could do a pink and a white together, but you're going to just put something light at the top of this brown paper. Okay, I'm just using the side and just filling that in. From there, now let's not forget what my colors are. From there, I'm going to do my darkest. And what are my darkest? It's these shrubs right here, these grasses. So I'm going to take my dark pink and do these lines. So that's about right here. I know this seems really odd. Why would you be doing pink on a brown picture? But it gives it great luminosity. Okay, so that's the darkest and the lightest. Can you guys see that okay? So then I'm going to come with my lighter pink that's in the middle out of these two. I'm going to go with the lighter one. And I'm going to start bringing down the sky. And I'm going to come on top of these grasses and over to the sides. And there's some grasses in the middle. Oops, there's one more dark one right there that I missed. And then the next color gets filled in with the rest. And you just base it in. You're just basing in the color. Next month, I'll show you how to tape down your paper. But we don't need it on this one. This is just a small sketch. A lot of people use chalk pastels when they're out sketching out on traveling. Like it's really easy to pack a small bag of chalk and a little sketchbook when you're traveling. So many people just do that. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to do is blend our pinks together just a little bit for the sky, not a lot. I'm going to come in with my light blues and make kind of a cloudy sky. But it's a summer day, so it's got these, it's a light blue, if that makes sense. But the sun's setting, so we're going to get some variety in our sky, and the pink's going to show through. And you'll see that it just makes it a really nice sunsetty color. The top, I should have done probably a darker blue. I'm going to go back now and add that. Okay. Go ahead and dump that. Take our white and we're going to just accentuate some of these clouds. I'm going to make this a more brilliant sky than I have on my sample. I think it's good practice for us to make clouds. And remember, we can use gray on the bottom, or we can use our three colors of green, purple, and orange. So I might do that just to kind of put an underpainting to these clouds. I'm going to start with orange. Just do a little line. I'm going to go in with the green on top of that. And then the purple on top of that all. Yeah, I don't want to mix that in right yet. I just want to pat it a little. I'm just going to dump it and see what we get. I think I might want to go over it a little. Okay. The next thing we do is establish our water line. So we need to take a horizontal line that goes through this shrubs and all the way across. Now, water is always level, so it's important to get this level. So I'm just taking blue and go straight across. Okay. And with that blue, I need to do some clouds or sky right there. Okay. That blue changes to a darker blue. It's lighter in the far away, and as we get closer, it gets darker, so I need a darker blue. That's lighter blue. Okay, and let's just try this one. Okay. I'm going to take my black, and I'm going to do the shrub or the grasses that are along the shoreline. And the black goes out all the way across. It's kind of a shadow of the marsh. In here in the middle. And right here at the base. So let's take and make some sand. And we're going to use orange for the sand. It's going to go on top of the pink, so it will tone it down, tone that pink down. So there, all the way to the water's edge. And up here in the dunes, there's sand that's exposed. And as we get closer, it's going to turn more of a yellow ochre. Let's dump this. There's a bright pink reflection on the sand right by the water. And then it kind of turns brown, the sand. Going over here to the right-hand side, a little bit brown. We've got some water that's coming in from, or is left over from the tide going out. So we're going to paint that, paint it, color it. And I'm going to start with kind of a blue-green. We'll put some highlights on it.
Debbie, yes, could you lift your picture higher? Yes, thank you.
Thanks. I always forget to change that. Okay, so I'm just adding water that's left over from the tide going out. Okay. And it's in quite a few spots, but mostly it's gotten stuck behind some of the grasses. And then we can fill it in there. Okay. Wanted to be able to see it and at the same time refer to the other one. Okay, we're going to go back. Now the sand was pretty orange here. It's going to start getting more yellow as it comes forward. So I'm going to be doing a dark yellow in the front here. That's almost too yellow, but maybe we'll just rub it in a little. Yeah, go ahead and rub that in and that will soften it. Take your black, actually take your brown. If you've got a brown, I want you to add grasses that are, this might be an orange, hold on, no, it's a brown. Okay, you want to add some more grasses that are brown. So take it up into the sky there. And even on this black, you can get a sharp point, that would be great. Now some of this grass is going to have some green in it, so we'll go back over with green too. dump that real quick. Okay, we need to add some highlights. So the very first thing I'm going to do is take a bright blue, probably the lightest blue, maybe this sea blue. No, maybe just a chalk blue. And I'm going to go across right there. And right here, the sun's just going to hit the beginning of these, just a little hint on these little puddles. Okay. We could, I don't know if we can. We could show a little bit of the blue at the shore to make it look like it's rolling in onto the sand. You're just almost doing dots along the edge there. That makes sense? I like the orange. I'm going to add a little bit of orange right here. I'm kind of bringing some of the color down from up above. So I want to bring in a little bit of orange and down here at the bottom. Okay. And then at the very, very bottom, we're just going to do a little, just a stripe of green, because that kind of grounds it all. It says you're off the beach, you're onto some green grass. Okay. And that's that. We finished that quicker than I thought we would. Okay, while you guys are finishing that up, I'm just going to do this echinacea so you guys can do it or follow along in the video. I'm taking a purple piece of paper. I don't expect you guys to be ready to do this, but I want it in the video since I promised it. So we're just doing the background, aqua over here, purple over on this side. If you're ready, you can follow along, or you can just, the purple makes it pop. So that's so much fun to have the bright color. And then on this side, it's going to be all purple, because this is the shadow side. Okay. So because the light is on the left-hand side, these are going to be bright. These are going to be more purple. So the oranges are on the left and the purples are on the right. To begin with, though, I'd start with black. And I'm just going to do a circle and dots. Over here, it's going to have a little bit of black. Okay. On top of that goes that same aqua blue. And just do little jaggedy pokes. Okay. On top of that goes, the next color would be purple. And oop, that doesn't show up enough, so I have to go lighter. You bring that purple up. I'm also going to come around okay. Then I'm going to use the pink. And that goes here. So the mature petals are a dark pink. Over here, it's going to be a lighter pink. So I'm going to switch my chalk out and do a lighter pink here. Do a yellow because it's just beginning to bloom. Okay. Then over back to this guy. Oh, actually, there's a little bit of yellow right there. Then we go back to the orange and do the same thing. We put lines up here. Oop. Break my chalk. And then the oranges don't go any farther to the right. And there's no orange on this guy at all. So it's more of a mature color for the tree. All that's left are the branches or the stems. So I'm going to take a green. And I'm going to take this green. And I'm going to make leaves. This one I'm going to do lighter green. Oh, here's my light green. Okay, so the light green goes on the left because that's our light source. I'm also going to do some light on this leaf, the top part of the leaf, and a little bit over here. This guy gets the light green leaf, but it's just little leaf because he's new. And that's it. That's the end of that. Okay, really quick. So actually, you know, this looks kind of flat. If I was to go away and look at it tomorrow, I'd probably add 2 more petals out here to make it more rounded. Okay. And that's it for tonight. So thank you all for joining me tonight, and I hope that you had fun.